reporting on the tiny town from across the country. Michael Bell is the focal point of today's rally. Right now, he's the only one of the teens behind bars. Last week, an appeals court threw out Bell's battery conviction, saying he should not have been tried as an adult. Bell could still face charges in a juvenile court. Let's head down there for the latest now from Jena and check in with CNN's Tony Harris. He's at the courthouse. Tony, update us on what's going on now.
Well, you know, it's very interesting. I've got to tell you, we've had a bit of a scene shift here in the last few moments. As you know, there have been 3 central locations here in Jena for today's march rally. There's a ball field down the road here a piece, about a mile and a half. There's also Jena High School, about a mile or so up the road in this direction. And then the other central location is where we are right now. And it's the courthouse building right here in downtown Jena, Louisiana. And we understand that over the course of the last couple of minutes, the ballpark location has essentially closed down, and we saw just a mass movement, and you'll see some more of the officers and state troopers coming behind me in just a second, have essentially closed down that location. The action has moved farther down the road to Alexandria, and now we're at a place where the officers are moving up here to the courthouse location. Why is that remotely significant? Well, the police, it must be said, the state troopers here in Louisiana have done a remarkable job at sort of, showing presence and showing strength, but allowing this march and rally to play out. Let's be clear about this. The permit for this event here at the courthouse expired, 2.5 hours ago at noon local time here, and the decision has been taken that this will be allowed to end at its own pace, at its own time. So maybe you just saw more of the troopers coming to the location, but clearly the decision has been made that while folks could be moved out of this area, the decision has been made to let this protest, this demonstration, for some, this pilgrimage, end at its own time and its own pace.
Yeah, and it would be kind of tough to corral all those people out of there, and think about, how that would look, all those people being yanked out of there. Hey, Tony, I got to ask you something. You've been interviewing a lot of people there on the ground, a lot of people who've been visiting from all over the country, and some of the residents. One of the questions, and I'm not sure, I didn't get to see all of it this morning as I was preparing for this show. We interviewed both black and white residents, black and white people from the town. Did anyone pose a question to the whites there, what they thought of the act of the nooses and what they thought of the charges there? Do you have any insight on that for us?
Yeah, I think maybe the best answers I received on that came from the representative from the school district who we talked about, from the school board, and we talked to about an hour or so ago. I think what Johnny Pryor expressed is that a sense that they had handled the situation inside the school system, that this was something that they could handle, and I don't think, in expanding on that, that there was a true recognition of the symbolism of the nooses in this town, and how, if that story got out, remember, folks here thought that that would be sort of a Jena story and that it wouldn't get out beyond these borders. Right. I don't think there was a real sensibility to the fact that if that story got out beyond this town, that it would resonate with African Americans and others, African Americans and whites around the country. So I don't know that there was a real sensibility to that, and that once the incident with the fight, some call it a vicious attack, took place on December 4th, that gave room for everyone to sort of investigate the background of racial tensions here in Jena, and we certainly found that story and ran with it.
Because, everyone's been asking, do you think your town is racist? Do you think whatever? But I'm just wondering, barring race, just as a human, a parent, whatever, what do you think of the act of the nooses? What do you think of the excessive charges? That was just sort of what I was wondering in all of this,
Well, Kira Phillips tried to talk to some of those parents and some of the relatives of the kids involved in that, at one point she was greeted by shotguns.
Yeah.
So perhaps it's a better, so that'll give you an indication of, and I don't know if that's a refusal to talk about the issues or just folks being sick and tired of the media and this we've turned this thing into an encampment. Maybe folks are just sick and tired of our presence.
Yeah. Tony Harris, thank you. And you bring up Kira Phillips. Thank you so much for that. You bring that up. Kira, of course, tonight, 8 o'clock here on CNN, we'll be doing a story on Jena. Not a story, an investigation. There it is, Judgment in Jena. This story has riled so many people. and gotten the interest of so many people, so we're going to be doing that tonight. Also, we have some email questions for you, your thoughts about what's happening in Jena.
Right. We asked folks, what do you think will actually be accomplished? And here's a taste of some of the responses that we've received.
Well, Shirley writes, the march in Jena may not accomplish anything as far as the verdict is concerned. However, the number of people in attendance is an indication of what a noose means in 2007.
And T from Killeen, Texas writes, we are all of the same race, the human race. We have black men and women fighting and dying beside our white men and women every day in the military to protect the freedom for all. Do we need to bring them home only to have them fight a race war here?
And Eric, a viewer who says he grew up in a small town in Louisiana, says this rally will help the black community of Jena and surrounding areas to no longer accept the plight of their minority status. I hope the white residents of Jena would lift the veils of ignorance to the racial tension in their community so social cohesion can begin. And we'd like to thank everybody for their emails to us.
Meantime, we're hoping for some hopeful news.